beeld is mislukt, hè? Weten jullie dat?
Hoe bedoel je beeld is mislukt?
De beeld?
Ik zal hem even rerunnen.
Ja, doe maar.
Oh,
Rerun.
je bedoelt het Engelse beeld.
Ja,
Is.
Beeld. Ja.
de beeld.
We hebben gewoon goed beeld. Loading speaker.
Ja,
Ja.
ik zie het. Ze kunnen ons ook wel horen, denk ik.
Ja, dat denk ik ook.
Oh, we gaan het echt in het Nederlands doen gewoon. Goed zo. Hallo allemaal.
Hallo.
Ja, ready, set,
Ja, go.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah? English or Dutch? What are we gonna do?
Let's vote
Spanish.
Spanish. ¿Cómo está?
Muy bien, gracias. ¿Y tú?
Muy bien, muy bien.
Yeah.
Okay, welcome everybody to the Home Assistant release party for Home Assistant 2022.10.0. 10 already, that means it's October. Which is wild because it means that we've done 9 releases this year.
No, yeah.
And it's a good one. It's actually, I didn't anticipate it to be this good as it was. I think given that last release, our birthday release, was crazy big, and now I thought we just do nothing.
It was so cool. Like, we discussed the title of this release. I want to touch upon that a bit. Like, we normally try to give the release a same title that highlights something really big and cool, but this thing is all over the place, and we couldn't come up with a title, and it became all over the place.
All over the place.
It's amazing, actually. There's so much stuff in there.
Yes. So, where do we start?
At the beginning.
Yes. Okay. My name is Paulus Schoutse. I am the founder of Home Assistant. Started it 9 years ago already. And, I work on stuff, basically everything nowadays.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Frank, and I run around the project almost everywhere, and mostly familiar with, or you guys would probably mostly know me from doing the releases, actually, and writing the release notes. So, hence me being here.
Boom.
Hi, Frank.
Hi, Bram.
Hi, I'm Bram. I work mainly on the front end of Home Assistant. And yeah, that's me.
That's you. Yeah, so today's agenda is we have the release, new Home Assistant release that we're going to talk about. There is a special ESP Home release just like last month because we had to unlock some features. Well, okay, the release hasn't been tagged yet, but it's going to be tagged today. We're all everything is being released today. And then we're also going to discuss Meta 1.0 that has dropped because there are some different opinions in the chat. So I think that'd be a good. I mean, that's kind of the agenda. I don't have any other agenda yet. We wanted to try to get some Bluetooth experts actually in today, and we failed. So maybe I hope Jesse is going to join us.
He first had to do some makeup, he said, so we'll be a little bit late, probably.
Yeah. So we don't have any active Bluetooth device, right?
Whoa, spoilers, Bram.
No,
Bram.
I didn't say it.
What the heck?
I didn't say it. I didn't.
Cool. All right. Where do we start?
Should we talk about some generic stuff that happened last month first, or this month, or right?
Yeah.
Or do you want to jump into the release? I'm not sure.
No, we can do generic.
Different, right?
What are you thinking of?
Well, I think the post you did 2 days ago was kind of interesting, or yesterday. Was it yesterday or 2 days ago? I'm already
energy. Yes.
Energy. And this mainly affects me too, because I live in the Netherlands, just like Bram does, and the energy prices are going sky high here, and in Europe in general. So it's kind of nice to see that you posted about that, as it is currently, for me at least, a very active subject in our home to reduce our or footprint, right? And to save some money there because it's just insanely expensive.
Right.
But additionally, on top of that, I really like the fact you opened a form for it.
Yes.
So?
So for the people that kind of missed what's going on, well, I mean, 5 steps back is that Europe was very reliant on Russia. Then the war happened. Then the gas reliance became a problem. Now gas is very expensive. Electricity is very expensive in Europe. And it means that a lot of people in Europe are looking at like quadruple prices, something like this, 5 times high energy prices. So
Yeah.
even though like energy saving was already important, it's even more important now. So I've been getting a lot of questions from people, like, you know, friends and family that are not really into home automation. They're like, you do something with like home automation, right? Like, how do I save energy? I was like, I have no idea. Like I lived in California for 10 years. Like I haven't had to heat my home like in 10 years. But you know, we gathered all the information and we kind of wrote up a blog post just to see kind of like an overview for people, like, hey, how these are things that you can do to improve the energy efficiency of reduce your energy usage. Really, that's the goal. And so even we added also some tips like that you can do if you're renting as well. Like there's obviously the more major upgrades that are the most impactful ones you cannot do if you're renting, but you can still do something. Like you don't just have to like, you know, do whatever your landlord thinks you should do. So we added like an overview of that. Which I mean, I should have like added some more credits to it because like I'm the author of it, but I checked with like a gazillion people just to make sure that like what's there makes sense. It's still not fully comprehensive. There's so many different variations of how people use energy, but it's a good start. But I think the 2 biggest things that we did around there is that the biggest thing is that we opened also a new form category. So if people want to talk energy, it doesn't have to be home assistant related, just anything energy monitoring or energy saving related. It, you know, the home assistant forums can be used as a place for that.
Yeah, I submitted a link to the forms in the chat to everybody now.
Yeah, if you type really fast, you can just like
or just
go to the website, go to the blog, and then
Yeah.
click there.
Yeah,
So-
it's an important thing right now, and it's somehow like I keep saying this, like it is not fun for me. It's not fun at this point because my prices go ×4 or ×5 depending on gas or electricity for me. So it's kind of like insane, but it does reduce. Like everybody is now on top of this, right? So everybody is reducing their usage and their energy usage massively, and that's just good for the environment. So in the end, there's a positive side on this. I kind of dig that somehow.
No, definitely. Yeah. Just let's hope that
As long as
winter is
people
not
don't
too
go
hard.
doing all crazy stuff. And
Well, that
Yeah.
was I mean, the things I heard about the Netherlands about like weird things selling out that are like, you know,
yeah,
like light candles or something and these kind of things.
Candles in flower pots that heat up and oil heaters.
and yeah,
And I've seen
And
topics
burn
of
down.
people and burn down indeed and burn down the whole freaking house. But I've also seen people trying to build their own home batteries right now, and I know that is a topic in many countries and many DIY communities. But like people are now doing it not because they are feeling confident of doing it, but because they feel they must. And then, well, expertise and such become a problem. So I'm kind of scared for all those little things in general happening around me. But all in all, like people are trying to save money and energy, and
It's really good. Yeah.
it's really good, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Would have been, yeah.
definitely.
All right.
Right. What else? Generic. Well, obviously, Matter 1.0 was released yesterday,
Yeah.
but we don't. Let's move that discussing that after we discussed Home Assistant release because I think that will go on for a while.
Yeah.
But related to Matter, we do have a new hire to announce for Nabukasa. Marcel van der Veld has joined us. Marcel is going to work full-time on Home Assistant, as we all do, and his focus is going to be on Matter. So he's going to be leading the Matter project, just like we have a person working full-time on Z-Wave, we have a person working full-time on Zigbee, and so now we'll have a person working full-time on Matter. Probably there will be more people helping out too, because the Matter integration in Home Assistant is like, well, it's a custom component right now, it's experimental, it's not mature. So we're going to make it more mature. And, you know, are we late to the game? Not really, because you cannot buy a Matter device today. So by the time you're going to have a Matter device in your house, I think our Matter integration is going to be available.
Yep.
Yeah. So, but yeah, Marcel joined us. It's great. He couldn't be here today, sadly, but he'll definitely join in one of the future streams. Marcel you might actually know Marcel already because he was part of the Let's Get Loud music event that we did in June. He's the creator of Music Assistant, a custom component for Home Assistant to create, like, manage all the music in your home, allowing with different kind of speaker system to create like a single unified system. He's also was involved with Z-Wave GS introduction and the Open Z-Wave app first before that. And of course, Philips Hue API v2, he's also been the one implementing. So he did a lot, and he'll do a lot more. But then mainly focus on Matter. Yeah.
We have some other Matter news, or is that for later too?
Later. Let's do that later.
All later, yes.
All right.
Yeah.
And then it's the month of Hacktoberfest. No, what the heck? Yeah, both, right?
Both.
It's kind of cool. So this month is the month of What the Hack, which we did 2 years ago. It's 2 years ago, God. And 2 years ago was quite a bit of a surprise and a big thing. Hey, somebody got his makeup on. Let's enjoy.
Are you ready, Jesse? Wave if you're ready. I think he's ready. Yes.
Hey, Jesse.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning, good evening, good day, wherever you are.
Thank you for joining us. Jesse, you want to quickly introduce yourself for the people that...
Yeah. Hi, I'm Jesse. I work on ESP Home full-time, basically. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's really cool. ESP Home is our... For the people that don't know, ESP Home is is the firmware. It's a software to generate firmware for microcontrollers. So it's really cool. So Jesse, I'm not sure if you were following, but we were just talking about the month of What the Hack.
I was watching.
Okay.
Right. So let's look back. This is the month of What the Hack, and we did that 2 years ago. And what it actually is we want to know about everything you think about, like, what the heck, or what is going on, or I would love if this little thing was better, or I don't like this part of Home Assistant, or this piece is so awesome, but it would be even more awesome if we added X. All these things, and then share it and report it, and not like GitHub style developers, forums, reproduction scenarios, and I don't know what else. No, just simply go to our forums and let us know. Just type your story, and that's it. And everybody can go there and vote on everything that's posted there, so we can see what's voted most and what's wanted the most. And at the same time, right now, it's Hacktoberfest, which means everybody can go to GitHub. If you're a programmer or a developer and want to contribute, you can earn yourself a free t-shirt this month by doing 4 PRs. There would be lots of things you could do based on what's all listed in month of What the Hack. So 2 years ago, we did an edition, and we got tons of changes to Home Assistant, like little ones, big ones, like all over the place, really. And we are hoping to see the same thing again this year. Just lots of people contributing their frustrations, and let's do something about it together. So maybe I can like quickly load up the form.
Yeah. And one of the cool things about Month What the Heck is that it allows other people to vote, right? So if there's something that is like, this is stupid, like, and you agree with it, then you can just vote it up as well. People can discuss it. Sometimes people upvote stuff that has already been like implemented or in today's release, and then we can like quickly solve it. So you can see, sometimes you see, oh, this one has been answered. It's because somebody has taken the time to fix it.
Yeah, right. So here's one, for example, like somebody submitted just now. Why is there no at night condition? Which is maybe a good question. There is something, but yeah. Well, this is their what the heck moment, and they're submitting it. And you can vote on it if you like. So there are currently over 500 what the heck submitted already. And if you look at votes, you can see which are top voted at this point. And this is really an extensive list of things we could look at and could improve on. Nothing is guaranteed. This is not a contest. Like if you're in the top, like voted, it might not be solved, but at least it will be visible to people to contribute to and to help fix. So if you're able to program and code on Home Assistant or to contribute, like this is a great place to go and look to fix things that people are annoyed by, or maybe want to be added. Like, I don't know, something here. Otherwise, yeah, it's a great place for us to look into, right?
Yeah.
So really
And I
interesting.
think, one of the things that is really nice, I mean, can you scroll up just to look at the first, like the top few? Like, so the biggest one is, why are all automations in one big list? You know, it's we've seen that one before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not everything is new.
No, not. I think we've seen a lot of. Sometimes we've gone for other options that are not well discoverable, or these kind of things, like automation in one big list. And there's a filter button at the top, right? You could like, but like there's people that want to have groups or labels or these kind of things, and we just haven't found the right like
We're not done
experience yet. You know, the changes you make to like an automation list, like it's so fundamental. You can't just like, you know, that impacts Home Assistant forever. So we need to really take our time.
I saw somebody that mentioned like, hey, why the hell if I change, I set a trigger ID in a condition, why don't I see it in the collapse role, the description? Why is the ID not mentioned, right? That's one of the what the hecks I saw. And it's like, well, that's a 2-line change. Let's fix it, right? So that's one I did this week. Like, hey, this is a little one, and it's annoying. This is not good. It could be better, and it's 10 minutes of time, and fixed it. There, one thing solved. And I think that's great. Like, not just the big things, but I really love all the small things too, because, well, that's the low-hanging fruit, right? Maybe. Yep. Month of what the heck. So go there if you have an annoyance. Check it out. Go vote there. That's important too. And well, I'm like looking forward to all the results the upcoming months. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Yep.
What the heck? Yeah, I really like it. It was so good last time, and it's like, I think it's also just like a developer focus. We tend to, you know, follow our leads and like our stuff that we're looking at, and this really resets it. We're like, no, we're just looking at this like, you know, these things that like people find annoying and just fix them. I mean, you know, it's also, you know, the fastest path to like user happiness is just asking their issues, see which issues are the most, you know, prominent, and then fixing them.
Yeah. It also like carries forward for a long time, right? Like even if it's not fixed now, then maybe in some months or so we're discussing or developing something, and we're like, hey, that was like mentioned there. Like people have opinions on that, and then we have a reference back, right? So it's not just now. It's not just these months. It sets a tone for further development. Oh. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's about it for the generic stuff, right?
Yes. I mean, I need to look at my notes that I don't have.
The same notes I don't have. Okay.
Yeah, I just checking.
I have the same notes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
Now, I read the newsletter. Like, if people are not like familiar, we have a newsletter that we send out on the same day. Like, it's always like send out like around the same time as we do the release, and that's where like those are kind of my side notes because those are the things that are not per se the Home Assistant release. Anything that's kind of beyond Home Assistant, we put in there. I just want to show you. It's called building the open home. It's called so. It's building.openhome.io. We send it out every month, and I always generate a nice picture using DALI. To that's like half my time working on the newsletter. It's just like making like AI art. But yeah, so definitely check it out. By the way, we had 12,000 people getting the newsletter today, so that's really
Wow.
cool.
Nice.
That's growing pretty fast. Well, if you haven't joined, the link is down below, so
Yeah.
you can still subscribe if you want to. It's not the same as the release notes, by the way. So there's definitely different content in there, which is
For
really cool.
example, something that is just like way better than the release note is that I have a photo of a cat in it, which it has a tracker around that now works with Home Assistant, which is a great segue into our first topic for the new release, which is Bluetooth. Boom.
Bum bum.
Again?
Again. Yeah. I think that like, we're going to, obviously the last two releases, we've been like talking a lot about Bluetooth, and I'm pretty sure the next release, we're also going to talk about Bluetooth.
How did it happen? Like, how did it went from all shitty Bluetooth to like major?
I think, yeah. I mean, it's kind of like we're on a roll. That's the main thing, right? So Bluetooth has been an amazing protocol because it's so ubiquitous. We all have it in our phones. So basically, for a smart home vendor, like these like meat thermometers, right? They worked over Bluetooth, and then you just have an app. You don't need a hub. Your app on your phone can talk directly to your thermometers. You can set like warnings on your phone, and as long as you're in the range, which assuming with a barbecue you are in range of your barbecue, then it works great. However, the biggest problem with Bluetooth has always been the range. So last month we actually introduced ESP Home Bluetooth proxies, which is a great little feature for ESP Home, which is microcontrollers that you can like install yourself, or you can buy pre-made ones now that will forward all your Bluetooth data to Home Assistant. So all of a sudden you can actually like have Home Assistant also monitor your barbecue thermometers, because an ESP Home device can pick it up. Because the Bluetooth range is so limited, could you scroll down a little bit, Frank, so this nice graphic comes into the view? The big problem with Bluetooth is that your Home Assistant hub is somewhere in your basement, in your, shoved under your cable modem, like stacked on top of like something else in the closet, and its reach there is very limited because Bluetooth is very limited. But through these ESP Home Bluetooth proxies, we're able to get and cover your whole house and your garden, garage, all that stuff. But now, in this release, drum roll, we have now active connections. So in the last release, our Bluetooth proxies were only capable of receiving data, which is great because sensors receive data, motion sensors, meat thermometers, these kind of stuff. But now we can also do active connections. And this means that the way it's built is that it works with anything that uses Bluetooth in Home Assistant, and it uses and works transparently. So SwitchBot, for example, is a good example. They make Bluetooth devices that like can press buttons. It has like a small metal finger. I was hoping to have one here today, but shipping, it's arriving today, I guess, after the stream. Probably exactly when the stream finishes, right? It will arrive.
Yeah.
Or during the stream. Yeah.
I mean, during the stream, I'll set it up. But yeah, active connections, but it also, for example, works with HomeKit. So HomeKit is Apple's smart home protocol, and with the HomeKit controller, Home Assistant is speaking this protocol directly to devices that speak it. So for example, Home Assistant can now control Eve smart plugs, the one that Jesse is showing, through HomeKit without Apple's not involved, except that they created the protocol.
Yeah, I don't actually have Apple devices in the house.
Yeah. And it's really cool because you can have that, a Eve smart plug somewhere in your house. It doesn't really matter how close it is to a Home Assistant as long as it is close to a Bluetooth proxy. Home Assistant talks to the Bluetooth proxy talks to the plug, and because it's just a proxy, it really means that all the logic of what to send and how to interpret the response is all in Home Assistant. And so as you upgrade Home Assistant, it will get better and better. And so your Bluetooth proxy doesn't need frequent updates. I mean, it still needs some updates now and then because, we just added active connection, so you need to update it. We might fix bugs. But basically, as Home Assistant gets more integrations, get more custom integrations, it will just work with your existing Bluetooth proxies. So yeah, I mean, do you want to show a demo, Jesse?
Sure, because that's a great idea.
Yeah, you can show a demo.
Yeah, so I had one all set up, ready to go, but for some reason the relay doesn't turn on. So I actually pulled one out of the box, and you'll see, as Frank will love, it's still got the plastic on the front. Because you can actually they don't actually cover the slots. So I will share my screen as well. This one.
This is gonna be good.
Mm-hmm. I want popcorn right now.
Open your tab.
Boom, boom, boom.
I have my finger ready on the sounds. Come on.
Well, first we gotta start sharing the screen.
Yeah. I had to open it in the other Chrome profile.
We are also always so prepared for live streams, as you can see.
I mean, the problem is, of course, that we're working on this release until the very last bit, and then there we are.
Yeah, it's still building, actually.
Okay, so I'm just gonna plug this in.
Whoa.
Can you zoom in a bit, Jesse?
And see what happens. Yes.
That
was fast. Actually, I didn't expect it to be so fast.
That's freaking
so there we go. We got the plug discovered by my ESP Home Proxy, which is running the Olimex PoE board. Yeah, we can configure that.
So this is now talking directly HomeKit between Home Assistant and through the Bluetooth proxy to the plug.
Not too shabby.
And this parent code you're reading from the box, right?
Yeah, it's on the piece of paper that came with it. It's also on a sticker on the side of the plug. Some secret code, but oh well.
Yeah.
Not so secret now.
First, you got to find my house.
And then get to it.
Yeah.
And then unpair your device before it can be repaired.
Yeah. Right. A few steps to go to get into my plug. So there we go. We've got a plug in the office. And if we find it, there it is. Need energy. There we go.
Boom.
You can turn it on. The first connection takes a little while, and it's very hard to see. There we go. Clicked on now. So it took maybe 3 seconds or so to turn on. Once it's connected, it usually goes a lot quicker. There is some issues with HomeKit devices disconnecting. They decide that they don't want to be connected to the Bluetooth proxy anymore, and they just actually disconnect straight from it. Not turning back off, but it is on. There we go. Of course, it turns off when I plug something in, like the printer. So for this plug, it's going a little bit slower. But for things like the SwitchBot plugs, Nick or B Draco was testing with those. He has many of those around, and she said that it was faster than the actual local USB adapter to do anything to get to switch it or to have state updates and stuff like that. Yeah, I haven't tried the stats of it yet because the last plug broke when I actually decided to plug something into it. I got 3 of them. I bought one from Amazon and then a 2-pack from Apple because the shipping was going to take ages, and now it's not working. And I have to look into the ESP home logs to figure out why.
So so this is not fully fair to Jesse because like HomeKit is actually the one plug that we had the most issues with because HomeKit is a very extensive protocol, has a lot of different steps that need to happen. The other Bluetooth stuff are working better. The thing that like needs to be kept in mind is that a Bluetooth proxy, an ESP device, like these devices are tiny, right? Like this can be a Bluetooth proxy, which is like it's really small. It doesn't even.
You can't see what
We
you're
don't see
showing
you.
because you've got me on there.
I'm gonna,
But it seems to work now, Jesse.
Yeah,
Turn on.
it's sometimes it takes a while. I don't know. I think there's a few disconnections. It tries to reconnect in the background and tries to fulfill your command. Basically,
this is like this is how small Bluetooth proxy can be. So they can only handle 3 active connections at the same time. So it means that.
Well, 1 at the moment. I'm still working on 3.
Oh yeah, so we're currently 1 active connection and it will be upgraded to 3. So if you have a lot of devices at the same time you want to control, that is not gonna you need more proxies.
Yeah.
But what Home Assistant will do, Home Assistant will automatically switch between proxies that have active connection slots open. Connections are kept open for a bit because the odds that you turn something on, you want to turn it off again is pretty high compared to, we have the connection open anyway, so we keep that connection open for a bit. So we're trying to optimize it all for you while it happens. And it's available now. You can actually let me just
Yeah, I need to make a release of ESP Home still, but if you have one of the sort of supported devices or even just a standard ESP32, you can flash it from the Bluetooth Proxies website, which I think Paulus is trying to find.
Yeah, we made a website. I don't know if we have a banner ready from last time. Let me just quickly create a banner so people can create a banner.
Bam.
You go to this website. Let me just put my head above the. If you go to this website,
Solved.
if you go to this website, you can actually see we have like 3 we have a generic ESP32, so you can like update any generic ESP32, and we have 2. We have 2 recommended boards, and the reason they are recommended is the M5 stack is it's very tiny. It has a small case around it, so it's like easy to kind of just plug it in, throw it in like some corner of your house.
Plug and play.
Yes. The other one is great, the Olimax ESP32 Power over Ethernet ISO. That's the one that we saw in the background with Jesse. It is great because it has power over Ethernet. So you just plug it into one cable, and then it gets its power, and it's plugged in, and it talks. It sends all its data over Ethernet. There is a lot of Bluetooth data in your house. You might not know it, but wow! If you ever look at those logs, I think every Apple device they send out a message every couple of seconds and whatnot.
All of the Google Homes, my Sony TV, Android TV, all of these things that are almost useless for Bluetooth, sending out advertisements all the time.
Yeah. And then together with the community, actually, we have a few advanced boards. The reason they're marked as advanced is because they require some more work. So as in you need to, this one looks super cool, but you actually need to screw it open and you need to connect to the ports. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
you need
like
to. So yes, you can install it on it, and it's like a great device. It has an external antenna. However, you need to put in effort, and we don't like effort, and we know you.
I've got one here, and I looked into it the first day I got here, but I need to come back to it again to see if I can get an OTA flash because it does have the option, but we have to have very specific firmware to be able to do that. So we'll see.
The other, and so there's this one, the wireless tag. This is the cheapest one. I think it is I'm just gonna quickly check. What is it? Yeah, it is for $10, something like this shipping, $12. However, now because it's kind of a pain, one of the community members, Tube, has released a ready-made kit. So it has actually an enclosure. It's already installed with a Bluetooth proxy, and has an extra seal that adds USB-C to it. So he doesn't like PayPal. Nobody does. So yeah, I mean, that is an option. If you want to buy a ready-made Bluetooth proxy, this is it. Otherwise, you can actually go here, use one of these two, and actually this website allows you to install it from your browser. I can click on connect, but you actually cannot see the thing that pops up due to Chrome desktop sharing not supporting that. But yeah, anyone can build a whole army of Bluetooth proxies and expand their house and their friends' homes. Boom.
Bam.
But that's not actually everything around Bluetooth. So the other cool thing that we added is iBeacon support. So iBeacon it's actually a very simple Bluetooth device. It's a Bluetooth device that every couple of seconds will send out a signal. The signal has a unique identifier and an optional major and minor location index, like a number. And basically, the technology was introduced in 2013 by Apple, and the idea was that you could put these iBeacons throughout your store, and when people would open your app, it could detect the iBeacons around it and be able to locate itself where you were in the store of this company, and so be like, oh, you're in this aisle. Oh, then we can show you this information for whatever. This
You don't even have to open
technology.
the app. Yeah, like they built it in a way that the apps run in the background and they get notified of the UIDs, and they can actually like show notification when you get there.
Yeah, you
Because
used to
of
get a notification when you were near an Apple store. Or start the Apple Store app, because you could check out with your app for some products and stuff. I'm not sure if that's still possible, but
Yeah. So we have iBeacon support. So what does that mean? It means that you can buy iBeacons, and I have one here. This is an iBeacon. It's actually kind of big. I'm just, for the record, because I was surprised when I got it. I'm like, whoa, this is big. This is the difference. This one runs on
AA
two.
batteries, doesn't it?
Yeah, this runs on two AAA batteries. It has you can close it with the lid, and then it is supposed to be like splatter-proof and whatnot, so you can put it on like devices outside. This is supposed to have a battery life of 10 years. So I bet you can also find ones that have like single
There
batteries.
are some with button batteries. They're a lot
There must
smaller.
be. Yeah,
I think they're only the batteries.
I used to play a bit with the Eddystone beacon, the physical web stuff from Google, and they definitely had like smaller ones back in the days.
Yeah.
But these beacons are really cool because, of course, Home Assistant is now able to detect beacons. So the first thing that you're going to notice when you turn on Home Assistant and you have Bluetooth is it will just pop up randomized beacons, and you have no idea where they're coming from. They might be from your home, your next door neighbor, whatever. We're going to find a lot of them. So you might have to, once you configure iBeacon support, you also start to realize, why is there an iBeacon in this? Jesse has a Tesla, and all of a sudden he's like, there's an iBeacon in my Tesla.
Yeah. Didn't know until it just showed up as discovered.
Well, and then Bidraco said that there's an iBeacon in his Nespresso machine. So he has like a Wi-Fi based Nespresso machine or something, and it has an
When
iBeacon
you're
in it.
walking closer to it, it knows to make a cup.
I guess so. Or, well, I mean, if you were supposed to have the app open on your phone, so that the moment you walk close to your coffee machine, it will pop open the app, that is kind of cool, I guess. Although I would prefer that if I get closer to the coffee machine, that the coffee is like heated up and I can just put my cup there. But,
And Home Assistant will actually show the distance to the beacon, right? Like an estimated, or what's it? Yeah, it's an estimation.
Yes,
Probably.
estimated distance.
I mean,
so how do you find out what that beacon is? Like, it discovered the beacon with some long ID. How do I know what it is?
Sometimes they'll have nice names, but sometimes they won't. Like, it's gonna
So
be
yeah,
tricky.
I can let me share. This is a beacon. This one, I gave it a nice name because like I detected it and then I immediately gave the name. Estimated distance 0 meters because I have it here.
Go for a
Yeah.
walk.
No, well, I tried that and it was like, look, I went all the way. I got it. So the thing is, the way this distance is done is based on a formula that Apple made available in the iBeacon spec, and it is not very good. So really based on how much walls you have or what kind of walls you have, even how much metal there is, all that stuff matters, right? So yeah, that basically you can't really rely on the meters itself, but you can rely on the fact that it is close or far away. And so, or even visible, right? So there's the bottom one says it's home or not home. That is basically then you also know that it's there or not there. So use cases here are, well, Jesse can see if his Tesla is home, so that's nice. But I think there's other use cases. We showed the picture of the cat, I think, earlier in the stream. So there are actually cat collars with iBeacons built in. So then you know, is your cat at home or not? And so maybe you have like a smart cat litter box, or you want to like put a light bulb above it. So, you can automate based on if your cat is home or not. But the other use case that I heard that was really nice is trash cans. So you screw an iBeacon on your trash can and you can actually see, did I put them at the side of the street for trash day pickup? So that's a really nice use case. And then this beacon that I just showed, this one is $17 on AliExpress, and something similar I think on Amazon as well.
I see a question that I saw a lot during the beta as well, so I'm going to highlight it.
AirTags do not.
No.
AirTags are their own system.
Yeah, it's
I
not
might.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna put this question: what type of Bluetooth is supported? We only focus on Bluetooth Low Energy, so we're not doing audio. We are only doing, discovery packets and like GATT, GATT reads and writes. There is some. I see this question: is the companion app broadcasting an iBeacon? It is not, but
It can on Android.
It can.
yeah, I thought on Android it was the other way around, where it could forward iBeacon data to Home Assistant.
No, so it can be a broadcaster.
Okay.
You can turn that on in the setting.
iOS can discover them and do your location based on them, right?
Opposite.
I think so, something like this. I mean,
Yeah.
it's been. I remember OwnTracks used to have that as well, where like you have.
I think the iOS app does have it. I used to have a Raspberry Pi next to my door, set up as an iBeacon.
I
And
believe
then
iOS actually removed all that functionality to be able to expose yourself as an iBeacon, to simulate an iBeacon.
No,
don't
it
think
would
everyone all the
see
time likes that.
iBeacons, and if it saw an iBeacon then sent to Home Assistant, it was home. So you got a quicker response that you were home
Oh, yeah.
instead of waiting for Wi-Fi or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Or
So as you can
GPS.
see, none of us really use that. So that that's the thing, is that there's so much you can do with Home Assistant that like we also don't know everything anymore.
Nope.
Yeah, I don't use the iBeacon stuff because it does put a drain on the phone battery if you're broadcasting as an iBeacon. So I don't use that.
So Chris Jennings is asking me, Flora sensors would work. Yes, they do. Yeah, I was just gonna.
Yeah, they do. I got a couple actually.
Yeah, I have one here.
In the box as per usual.
This one is very special because, well, it has no batteries. I actually removed all my Mi Floras from my home and removed all the batteries because, like, I had a lot of Mi Floras in my Home Assistant. I had no idea which one was what. So, as a solution, I removed all the batteries, and I'm now slowly adding them back one by one, and every time giving them a name before adding the next one. So, lesson learned.
I had the same issue with all of my temperature sensors. I had
Right.
to
Yeah,
go
I have.
around and do one at a time.
I have one temperature sensor here.
Yeah, I got 11 of them around the house. So when I switched from ESP Home YAML to proxies, I had to figure out which one was which. Give them all nice names.
Yeah. For the people that are not aware, the MiFlora ones are kind of nice in that you stick them in the dirt of your plant, and it will send electricity from one of the legs to the other leg, and based on how moist your soil is, it knows. Yeah, like that.
And you can actually feel it, by the way.
Yeah. So then it knows kind of how moist your dirt is, and then it will send that data to Home Assistant. And it can alert you, right? So like, hey, you need to water your plants because it's dead.
It also measures like the fertilizer and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Conductivity. That's pretty cool. That's pretty useful. At least I hope it will prevent me from killing my plants.
Here's a question: if you have few ESPs, do you know what is the distance from you can see in the device, one of the entities will tell you which adapter it's connected to. So
Attribute.
it's an attribute.
Source.
Yeah.
So it does. That's cool.
I'm actually going to show it. So here's the dev beacon one I just showed, and you can see that this is the UUID major and minor. This is the different values that are like stored. So generally you don't really use these. The UUID is used because that's how the iBeacon is tracked. And then source is the Bluetooth adapter. So in my case, I use the Olimax Bluetooth proxy. It's like sitting next to my Ethernet ports. So I cannot really show it, but yeah, that's how it's connected. Or detected, I guess, that they're not connected. And then you actually also have like power and signal strength, but don't really use those. Yeah. Anything else for Bluetooth? Yes, it is a lot faster again.
All right. Again.
I mean, it's like we released Home Assistant operating system 9. I think we announced it last month saying this is coming. Please update if you're using USB adapters for Bluetooth. And if you do, definitely use it. It is so much faster now. It's like an order of magnitude faster than last month. We have Bidraco has been like going wild on this. So on the operating side, it is faster now sending Bluetooth data to Home Assistant, and Home Assistant is a lot faster in receiving Bluetooth data. So that really helps. Then the Bluetooth package we use, Bleak, we've worked with them to make stuff faster. And so literally everything that touched Bluetooth data from your USB adapter all the way into Home Assistant has gotten faster. So yeah, definitely if you were experiencing issues, there can be a lot of Bluetooth data and definitely older, like Raspberry Pi 3. Just update all the things and you'll be racing. Somebody's asking, can I disable iBeacon auto discovery? No, we don't currently support. I mean, this is a Home Assistant general thing, right? We cannot disable the discovery of a single integration. Each different thing is discovered, and then
you can ignore it.
Yeah.
You can't even ignore them individually though, because it's only one config entry, and it just creates devices.
Correct.
So whether you want them or not, there's a list of devices there.
Well, I mean, you could ignore the discovery, I think. Actually, you can ignore
the original one, I guess you could.
Yeah, if you want no iBeacon at all.
Yeah, you get all or nothing, I guess.
Yeah.
Is it discovered? It wasn't discovered for me.
iBeacon should be discovered.
Oh.
It was for me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, ESP Home needs a new release for active connections. We actually had a small bug where or well, not a bug, but we have updated the Bluetooth proxy website before we had released the new ESP Home version. So people that had imported and adopted their Bluetooth proxies to customize could no longer update. But that will be fixed today, and we're going to work on a solution to avoid that in the future. Somebody says here, yes, you can end up detecting. I mean, look, Bluetooth just goes everywhere, right? So you will end up finding stuff from your neighbors unless you have a very big land. Cool. Anything else with Bluetooth? I don't think so, right?
No, I don't think so. I think that's it.
No. Going through all the questions. No, doesn't seem good. So definitely, if you have,
There's one.
so basically all iBeacons that are following the spec are compatible, of course. But so Bdraco has been testing with Blue Charm, and then the one I have is called, and I keep forgetting the name, it's called VCCom. Let me just.
If you go to the documentation of Home Assistant and you search for iBeacons, the actual page of the integration will have a list of at least the beacons that have been tested. So, and they'll link to their respective shops, I believe, where you could just type in the product name, number, Google for it. But yeah, there's a list of devices that are actually tested in the documentation. That's one indeed.
This is the PCCom is the device I have, the brand I have. This is not the actual device. This one might actually be nicer because it's smaller, right? Like 5 by 4 centimeters. So, yes. Let's see. So I get you the release notes up.
It's already on the subject.
Finding the right integration. Bram, this one is yours.
Yeah.
Is it mine?
Yes.
I only built it. I didn't design the specs. Like, what's the story behind it, guys? No, it was we have a lot of integrations for the same brand. Like some devices can be integrated in different ways. The same device, like for instance, Philips Hue, you can integrate that. That's a bad example, maybe because we didn't implement that.
Well, the idea is good. The idea is good.
Ecobee.
All right, Ecobee.
Ecobee can be integrated through HomeKit, or it can be integrated with their own integration that is cloud-based. And previously, you had to know that to be able to make a choice. What one would you choose? Which one would you choose? And so we changed stuff around. We now group all integrations by their brand. So if a brand has multiple integrations, we group them together. So if you search for a brand, I probably want to share my screen. This one. It's in Dutch. Sorry.
It's okay.
Okay. There we go. So if you search for a brand, for example, Google, you will see all the integrations from Google listed. And even the integrations that were previously not in the UI at all, because they are not configurable through the UI. You have to set them up through YAML. We show them now, so you at least know they exist. And if you click them, you can go to the website documentation to see how you have to set it up. But for example, Leviton. Oh, I have the wrong version here. I don't have the latest beta.
Unify?
Hmm?
Unify?
Yeah, but that's not.
So the cool thing is, by the way, he types uni and still finds it. So it still looks deeper, right?
Yeah.
So if
So
you
you
look for
can-
nest,
Then you get Google,
right?
and then inside. But I should get my dev instance up.
So one of the changes that was visible already in the screenshots right now on Bram's screen was like every item now has the little cloud icon potentially at the end of every entry. So that means the integration that you could select there uses the cloud to communicate. So it's not local.
Okay. This should be the newest. So for example, if I go to Apple, on top you see the discovered devices of Apple. So my Apple TV was discovered, HomeKit was discovered. And below you see all the other integrations of Apple that are available, including the new iBeacon tracker. So that's cool. And for example, Leviton. No, it's not Leviton, is it? Which one did you add yesterday, Paulus, that is partner with
Zeus?
us?
UTech or Zeus?
No, the
InnoValley.
one that has both Zigbee and Z-Wave.
InnoValley.
InnoValley, that's the one. So InnoValley has Zigbee and Z-Wave devices, but it doesn't have an own integration. They only have devices that support standards. But it is listed in the brands now. And if you click it, it will ask you what kind of device you want to add. And then if you say Z-Wave, it will start adding a Z-Wave device.
Yeah, so one of the challenges that we wanted to solve is that there's a bunch of manufacturers like InnoValley that are actually nice in that they only create devices using open standards. However, our integration list used to only show things that had integration directly into Home Assistant, which means that they would not show up in this list. So we only had a list of companies that made their own APIs instead of using open standards. So we wanted to change that. And one of the drivers behind this is, of course, discoverability. One of the other drivers is the Works with Home Assistant program. So we actually, InnoValley, we're working with them on becoming a Works with Home Assistant partner. They're sending us devices, we're testing them out, making sure they work. And so, we want to have these kind of companies in our list to make sure that if people get an InnoValley device and they go to add integration, they might not know if it's Zigbee or Z-Wave. They just say, I have an InnoValley. And this is like a good first step to help them get, our goal is to get users to add devices to their smart home. So this will only help with that. I think the other thing also, which like the grouping really helps, we showed the Google example. Google is a really, Google's just a big company that we have so many integrations. So this is not very common that you see like this many integrations in the same brand, but it really also helps on the development side is that we can easily split integrations now. So maybe there are integrations where you can talk local or you can talk through the cloud. So maybe you can search for Yale, Bram, or August.
That's a...
Yeah, so, okay, it's a bit of a mess that it shows August when you search for Yale, but they had an acquisition. Yale acquired August, and it's been... Some of the Yale logs go through August, some of the August logs go through Yale. But the nice thing here is that now, if you're trying to set up your Yale log, you can actually see, I can actually go local or I can go through the cloud. And so we can help. We obviously show the cloud icon, which is like, a negative thing, right? Like it depends on the cloud. So we really try to use this to kind of also steer the user towards using integrations that are going local. And for example, Ecobee is a nice example because Ecobee is because what they do is that they're they're actually not showing up here. Ecobee
It
device
is if it is discovered by HomeKit,
okay,
but
yes.
it's not.
So Ecobee, if you have an Ecobee device, Ecobee can be you can control it locally through HomeKit. So Home Assistant will talk directly HomeKit to your Ecobee device, or you can control it through the Ecobee cloud. Well, in that case, we of course prefer a standard like HomeKit because it's local. And so if your Ecobee device is discovered to be controllable through HomeKit and be ready for adoption, instead of seeing just Ecobee here going through the cloud, you will see Ecobee and HomeKit offered as an option.
Yep. So we have 3 different Honeywell integrations and stuff like that.
Yep. Yeah. I really like the addition of the YAML integrations, personally. Not because, well, you cannot set them up in the UI, right? That's not possible. But there are many users looking for them. We often get a question like, I saw this integration in the integration list on the website, and I'm trying to add it, but I cannot find it. So now you can actually find them, and it will direct you to the documentation on how to set it up. So at least it's there. You can even search for template right now, if I'm correct, and it should probably show up. Right, there it is. So all of them are now at least listed. You might not be able to set them up, and let's hope we can set up everything in the future. But right now, it's just at least helping finding things. And that's what this is all about, right? Being able to find stuff, whether it's from a certain brand or a brand that's supported by something else, or using a standard technology like Zigbee or Z-Wave, or maybe, well, YAML setup, or choices between local and cloud, and all these things are now at least visible. So that was the goal, and I think that's pretty awesome.
Yep.
I agree.
Talking about Z-Wave, now that we have like a nice Z-Wave icon on the screen, we have, last release, was it last release? So we added support for Z-Wave firmware updates a couple of releases ago, but you had to find the files. Then last release, we announced the Z-Wave update service. So Home Assistant will actually talk to Z-Wave JS, our partner that provides the open source project that provides the Z-Wave integration in Home Assistant, and they will tell us which firmware updates are available for your devices. So that way you can actually, Home Assistant will tell you, hey, you have a Z-Wave device that has an update. Do you want to update it? In this release, nothing new on that side, like on how this works, but we have more firmwares. So InnoValley has been testing one device. They made one firmware now available, and they're just kind of getting their feet wet, trying to see how this works and if their users like it and if they like how the experience is. And then there's a company called iBlinds. They make blinds in Z-Wave, and they have also added firmware updates. So really cool. This is kind of like, the ball is slowly starting to roll. Of course, we don't have all the device firmware updates yet, but it, we'll get more and more. Yeah. Anything else about the brands? No. I was surprised how many brands we already had where we have multiple integrations. Like, for example, I see Elgato on the screen, right?
Yes.
And Elgato has Light and Avia, and I had no idea.
Yeah, I believe Avia is not officially part of the Elgato company anymore. Elgato's, by the way, nowadays from Crosshair Memory, I believe.
Oh, yeah, they got acquired.
They got acquired, but it's Elgato Gaming nowadays. But Avia is even from way before that. I don't believe it's produced anymore, actually. But it works on my system.
Yeah, I see. I'm quickly Googling, and it's just videos from 2014.
Right.
Yeah. All right. So, we already said at the beginning, this release is all over the place. And so, yeah, I guess we're going to the next place. Although I see Raman is asking, you may have said this already, but how many brands do we have? 50?
More. I added 47 yesterday. So whatever was in there should be added to that.
As in brands with multiple integrations, not total
Yeah.
brands that we support in Home Assistant, like
Yeah, just
So I
1,000.
just count the files. We have 59 files. So some of these brands are because they have IoT, like they have just Z-Wave and Zigbee support. Some of them are because they group multiple integrations.
yeah. So it's basically about 60 groupings we did on brand based at this point,
Yeah.
of which Google is the biggest.
Jay is saying same Fibaro isn't playing ball with providing firmware files. I think that eventually there will be enough pressure on companies to provide firmware files. If like all the companies around them are providing firmware files, and we are obviously also going to show this in the Home Assistant interface, like, hey, this Z-Wave device provides, you get firmware updates. These are the brands that are actually playing nice with the open source community. You should probably recommend these. So obviously, just like as the cloud label, we're going to, shame companies like, hey, you're not doing the right thing. So tell our users this. And if users come to us for a recommendation, what works best, then they'll see that and make the decisions.
And you could always send out an email to the support desk, right, and ask.
Yeah.
Like if you want it and you need a firmware update, just ask for it and maybe ask if they want to like provide it to the Home Assistant project so everybody can benefit from it. And just send them a mail.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it really helps. We get quite frequently companies reaching out to us saying, hey, a lot of our users are asking integration with Home Assistant. Where do we start? What do we do? Sadly, we also sometimes get emails like, oh, a lot of users are asking for Home Assistant integration. Here is our API documentation. Good luck. And we're like, yeah.
Can you build it for us?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nope.
All right. Frank, I'm going to change to your screen. Oh, well, you already got the next one?
Yeah.
That's good.
Good, huh?
This is such a cool feature.
I think this is one of the Bluetooth active connections is a big one, but this is I think this is going to be huge in the community.
Yeah, definitely. So what is it? Who's going to talk about it? Ram?
Just
Frank has a demo up, or is it in a demo? What is it? Is it a screenshot?
Yeah, this is a screenshot. No,
Screenshot?
it is a screenshot from my instance, so I could open my instance because I haven't removed the stuff for the screenshot yet. But let's start if you open a tab and such for a demo, I will start talking. Let's do that. So for a Home Assistant, we have now a new feature for dashboarding in Home Assistant, which is called Subviews. If you don't know, a dashboard consists out of multiple views. Those are those tabs that are on top of your dashboard, which you can navigate to. You can give them a name or an icon. And you can now mark one of those views, or multiple if you want to, as a subview. So if you go into the settings panel of a view, Bram, hurry up. I need a...
What? I have everything set up already.
Oh, look at that. So this is a dashboard which is being edited, and if you go to edit one of those views, can you edit? You're already navigating. What are you doing, mate?
I'm going to the subview.
Oh, okay. You're making it all.
Right, so Bram is creating a button, he's adding a navigate action to it, and
Okay, I'll start at start.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I added a view. I called it subview, and I didn't do anything else. And I enabled subview for it. That's what I did. It's just an empty view for now. And in my other view, I added a button, and in the button, as a tab action, I choose navigate, and then I got a really nice drop down with all my views that I can navigate to.
Thank you, Paul. That's
pretty cool.
Really helpful addition.
And my subview is one of them, so I'll choose my subview. And now, when I exit edit mode, you'll see that my subview is no longer in the bar at the top. It's gone. And if I click this button, I go into my subview, then all the tabs at the top are gone, and I have a nice back arrow. So I can go back to the view I came from. So you can create an overview page with buttons or whatever that navigate to your subviews with more detail. For example, one overview of all your rooms, like an area card, can have an action, I think. What a nice picture of me. So here you can have a navigate path to the subview. So you have an area card, and then when you click it, you go to the subview, and you can have more info about this area, more detailed information, controls, whatever, and go back and see all your areas.
So now your subview is actually empty, right? Can you just add like a button just so people realize that this is an actual just Lovelace dashboard?
It is an actual Lovelace dashboard. I can add an alarm panel. I can add entities.
There you go. Yeah, now people recognize it as a view. Yeah, so
I go back, I click on my room. I can control my bed lights, ceiling lights, go back and go into
I'm thinking
another.
actually we can even remove the triple dot menu, right, in a subview.
We can, but it's easy to edit it still.
Yeah.
This is, of course, like super cool if you have like a mobile device or a tablet in your home. You can create those little like main icons on your screen, which you can easily touch and then go into like a deeper view, right? That would be better than that little navigation bar on top of it.
Yeah. I saw a question somewhere up there. Does it work with Home Assistant Cast? And not yet, I think. I don't think we fixed it yet. So Home Assistant Cast.
The back button is not shown in Cast.
So you don't even need it, right? Like you just basically in Home Assistant Cast, any view is a sub view because there's no tabs shown.
No, but you can still navigate, of course, but then you cannot return.
Yeah, you need to navigate. Yeah.
So that's something we have to.
Nested subviews are possible. Yes, because it's just in the end we just show a screen with like a back button, right? So you can go as deep as you want, and your browser history stack keeps the previous page.
To solve that, could you just make the like one option under the navigate action be back?
Yeah,
so that you could create a button that just
could.
went back, and then people could put it wherever they wanted on their sort of dashboard.
Yeah, but the idea for subview is that people don't have to add a back button. That it's
no, but for things like cast, though, you would need.
Yeah.
No, we should just handle that. We should add a back button for cast. Yeah. We can see if it's a cast device.
Taking up a whole lot of space, though.
No, but it's like it's kind of lame. You don't want the back button to show on your normal dashboard, and so adding one just for cast is kind of annoying, I'd say.
Yep, we're gonna handle it.
Yeah,
we will.
Somebody's asking, will subviews show breadcrumbs? Subviews are not showing breadcrumbs at all. So there's no breadcrumbs for nested subviews either.
You could put it in your title, like if you're creative enough.
It's true.
The title is shown, so.
This is actually an interesting question. We do not support this, Marcel. Cannot switch back after inactivity time to a home screen tab. But you could make a custom card that does this. That basically automatically, goes back after a couple of minutes or something. Somebody asking, can you share subviews across dashboards? Yes, you can, because you just point at a subview of another dashboard. It will just show the back button and go back to the page that you came from. Yeah.
Can't you use swipe as back button?
Not on
know.
cast. Cast doesn't have gestures because
No.
cast is not supposed to have touch either, but we hacked our way around it. Right? So
It's
like
supposed to have touch. They tell it does in their documentation, but they just don't follow their own documentation. That's
Right.
the issue.
Yeah.
Can
Cool.
a subview contain itself?
Yeah, sure it can.
Sure. If you want to.
I
Yeah.
can link a subview to a subview.
Trying to figure out how many times you have to push back to get out of it.
It's how do you even come up with a question? Amazing. All right, that's subviews. I think this is going to be great. By the way, in general, I think we're going to see this a lot.
Yeah. Definitely. And then it will be in the Google Home app in a year or two.
Like Yaml automations, Paul.
I know
Yeah,
people
more
like this,
automations.
what happened is kind of funny. Google just released their revamped Google Home app, and they've introduced the YAML editor. It's like, I kid you not, they have like a YAML editor. I'm trying to. Oh god damn it!
Yeah, you can create automations with YAML. Like
Like an
it sounds
assistant.
familiar somewhere.
Yeah, we've seen that before. It's so cute.
It's so
But
funny
it's
because
like almost exactly the same syntax. That's pretty cool.
yeah, I have a screen. Let me just see if I can share my. I shared the photo earlier on Twitter. So this is not the Home Assistant YAML editor. This is the Google Home YAML editor, including the word triggers. They use the word triggers. I don't know if I can zoom
Yeah,
in.
do from
but I
state.
cannot- Yeah.
for-
So it's
It's like
it's
exactly
cool.
the same.
Yeah. So that's good because it was also interesting. Their automation editor. This is the new Google Home automation editor. And just as a comparison, I put ours next to it, and it's very similar. Now, they didn't copy this, of course, because it takes Google years to like do a redesign, right? Do all these user tests and studies, but we use Google's material design, right? So we use the same UI rules and components as they do. So I guess in the end, we kind of came to the same conclusion. So I'm actually very proud of us that we without like a whole army of UX people, we have, we just have Matthias. We got like to the same conclusions. So they do always show the drag and drop handle, though. We don't.
We decided not to.
No.
We considered it, but
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's cool. So basically, the Google Home app looks cool now.
It has some cool new features.
No, but they actually did some nice things that I think we can also borrow. I think if you go to the dashboard, main dashboard, if you have any media player active, you have a media player bar. Things that are like the stuff that is active in your house is kind of more brought to the front. I think that's really cool.
That's cool.
But it's a nice time in home automation world because Matter is coming. Well, Matter 1.0 was released, but Google and Apple and we too are all racing to like release our Matter support so that then vendors can start selling products that are then supported in the big home automation platforms. And because of that, everybody has like a redesign ready, right? So it's actually it's a fun time. All right.
Should we go back into whatever is left?
Is there?
This is still the subview stuff. Oh.
this
is
was
like,
actually not correct, Frank. Like the
Why?
dialogues rounder, that's been there for 2 releases already, I think.
some, not all. Like
No, all.
it's more
All.
round.
All.
I
No.
got some.
That didn't
Well,
change this release. Sorry, Frank. I'm
Oh
sorry.
boy.
Well, you
I'm
should
sorry you
take-
didn't notice. It was pretty noticeable, but
I did the previous before and after shots from the issue originally, so that's where my text.
No,
came
the
from.
main difference is the red delete button there, and some texts where text was updated and some dialogues were.
No,
Mainly content was changed. This
I think
release.
the content was changed, but also the features inside a dialogue. So we used to kind of add a lot of stuff into a dialogue that can better be done on the menu. For example, the triple dot menu on the right. And the reason that, basically we just took the material guidelines and we started applying them. So basically, a lot of times when we get new features or people add new features to Home Assistant, they don't know all the material guidelines by heart. Surprise. Not every feature added to Home Assistant goes to our UX team. So this is more like a catch-up. So
No, but still, I find it important to mention because somebody actually worked on this quite a bit, this release, right? And this is one of the things that still happen, but if you don't, I don't know. I think it's kind of cool to at least like somebody put effort in it, and it's really important effort too. Standardization and consistency and streamlining.
A lot of people put effort in it. We had
Yeah,
UX designers. We had
yeah.
people implementing. There were discussions about it.
So there we go.
boom.
Oh. Viewing YAML automations in the automations editor. Should I? In this
YAML
case?
automation. Yeah, you have a lot of
YAML.
YAML automations, right?
I only have YAML automations. No, that's actually true.
So you can actually use the automation editor now. Whoop.
I think this is such a big improvement. I think that I know that. Well, why don't you speak first, Frank? Then
Yeah, let me switch really quick to my actual instance. Here we go. So this is my instance, and I have some YAML automations active here. And previously, if I would try to open one of those, I would get like a dialogue saying no. Right? That's it. It was just a no. It was, yeah, you cannot view this automation because it's not in automations.yaml or something, a message like that, which is actually maybe sometimes pretty bit annoying because, well, maybe I just wanted to view it or do something else with it, and that was not possible. So as of this release, you can at least open them and view them. So if I click on my attic ventilation, for example, here, bam, it will actually open it, and it will show that it is a manual managed automation. So it cannot be edited in here. It shows my description that I have in my YAML file. And there it is. It's my whole automation. Just like it would be when I created it in the UI. And this is a pretty big one, actually. So there's quite a bit of things in here. But yeah, you cannot view any YAML automation in the editor and do anything else except for editing it. So you can go to traces, you can migrate it. That's new, right? And I'm not sure what it does. So Bram,
click it.
I know.
Click it. Just click it.
This is an automation with anchors. Does that work?
Click it.
Oh boy, a live demo.
It works.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah, sure.
So you can migrate your automation from the UI or from the YAML into the UI in case you want it, or in case you want to create a duplicate. I believe it copies it, right? After it's migrated and saved, you'll have to manually delete your automation. Yeah, so it creates a copy. Oh, let's try.
Yep.
Let's see what it does.
and then it disables the old one.
Oh.
No, it doesn't. We should do that.
I mean,
should do that. We should do that.
Nah, it doesn't. Whatever.
okay.
So
That's
now
4.1. That's 4.1.
Yeah.
forgot
What I
that
really
one.
like about this is that, we've had, the automation editor has come a long way in the last couple of years.
Yes,
And
it did.
long-time Home Assistant users that have done their automations in YAML forever and have never used the UI were not able to see any of this because they couldn't open the editor, right? So the biggest feature here is not the migration. That is a nice touch. We added on top. The big feature here is that you can actually see the editor and see, oh, it is actually pretty fucking cool what we've done here. And like you can actually also, edit you can view the YAML of individual actions and triggers and conditions. And there's so much cool stuff that you can do now. So I think that hopefully we can now show people, hey, look how cool it is.
This is actually pretty readable. Like this is my heating, and for one of the rooms, and it says when the house is in vacation mode, turn off the heating. When the window is open, turn off the heating. When it's evening or night, turn it on, turn up. Well, this is actually really readable. And the last step is turn on heating and turn down heating, which is a bit weird actually, as it sounds, but kind of makes sense. It's right. It's actually readable than I thought it would be, to be honest. Cool.
Boom.
Boom.
And also,
So,
so if you add nice descriptions, that's also shown on the top.
yeah. Yeah, I generally add descriptions into the automation, like sometimes a big one even, like in here, because it's like a documentation for me too, right? Especially if an automation is big, like this one. This one is pretty darn huge. You have a reference back of what happened and why you build it the way you did. So it can be really helpful to put in some additional info in there. All right. That's it.
That's it?
That's it, right? Viewing YAML automations.
Oh,
And scripts.
yeah.
I lost my mouse. Here we go.
Oh, yeah, scripts are supported too.
I don't have. Oh, that's the wrong screen. I don't think I have scripts any. Look at that.
I mean, it looks the same, right? It's
Yeah, it's the same.
All right.
cool. All right. So next up is boom, 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 boom.
A little advanced feature for people that work with templates. A version handling function or filter that is capable of handling, well, version numbers, version strings, can do smart stuff. It's actually, sorry. It's actually based on a library that we use internally inside Home Assistant to do all version stuff. It's called Awesome Version. Awesome Version is built by Ludius, and that's what we use for everything. Like if you have an update entity that says, well, there's a new version available, then it's Awesome Version that decided that it's a newer version actually. So that version capability of Awesome Version has been exposed to the template engine. So you can now compare versions to see if something is newer. You can ask, like, is this a beta version? You can do things like, hey, the difference between version X and version Y, is that like a patch or a minor or a major difference between those? And maybe decide like doing an automatic upgrade in case it's a patch and not if it's a major version, or skip beta versions, or maybe only install beta upgrades, things like that. You can make now really complex rules based on version numbers without go into, I don't know, regular expressions or string splitting to figure things out. So you can now work with versions really easily. I think it's pretty cool. All right.
Yeah. Google Sheets.
Yeah, you'll like this one. Go ahead.
Yeah, I like this one a lot. It's funny because we had like some internal debate about like why is this exist and like, but yeah, I'll talk about this. So
I'm gonna hit off the stream.
okay, thanks for
Yeah,
joining.
yeah.
Jesse. Thanks for all your hard work on Bluetooth proxies and stuff. And we'll see you next month at the following release party.
Yes.
Not
Maybe.
so enthused.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. So, Google Sheets. So, Google Sheets is a product from Google that runs in your browser and that mimics Excel. So, it's a spreadsheet program. You can add rows and stuff like this. And the nice thing about Google Sheets is that a lot of people are familiar with it. So, they know seeing like a spreadsheet, how they can extract data out of it, how they can summarize it, how they can show graphs, these kind of stuff. Now, with the new Google Sheets integration, what you can do is that you set it up, you link your Google account. It will create a new sheet. You cannot use existing sheets. It will create a new sheet. This is like a permission model that we've chosen so that basically your Google account is only allowed to edit that one sheet when linked with Home Assistant per time that you set it up. And what happens here is that the only thing you get in Home Assistant is a new service that you can call. So, and it's add data, and every time you call that service, it will add a new row to your Google Sheets. So this allows you to basically create a way to export data into Google Sheets whenever you want. So an example that you see here is that if you, for example, track an hourly usage or a daily usage energy sensor, whenever the state goes to 0, you know that the counter has been reset. So then you can get the old state value, which is also available in the variables, and send it to Google Sheets. And then Google Sheets can automatically create a graph, for example. And the nice thing is that you can also share this, right? Like your partner might know how this works, or your parents. It's way easier maybe to explain than like having them log into Grafana, because if you're like a more advanced person, you might install the Grafana and the InfluxDB add-ons, which I think Frank once did a speed run. You can do it in 10 minutes or something. It's all so you can get that data in Home
You
Assistant.
need more time than 10 minutes for those, by the way. It's
Okay.
that's complex stuff, right? So
Yeah.
compared to
So this is cool. This is I think it's nice. I think there will be people that like this feature. So the way it works is that the first row created is automatically added. So basically, whenever it automatically adds that column, and then you give it column names in the service call, and each column name you give a value. And if you do a service call with new column names, those columns will automatically be added to the sheet and be filled in that column. So you can also have a mix of data. So like one service call only filling in 3 columns, and the other fills in like 3 other columns. This helps you organize your data as well. So, Google Sheets. Of course,
All
it
right.
does rely on cloud, disclaimer.
Yes, this is a cloud integration for sure. We're already in the last bit. Other noteworthy changes.
See a typo.
Yeah.
Nice. Long-term statics card.
Oh, statics. Oh boy, statistics.
It's static.
We have like 5 people proofread this stuff.
It doesn't
Including
matter.
me. Anyway, yeah. So long-term statistics. This is really cool. There's a lot of work being done by Eric and Epanet on allowing you to change the unit of your sensors. So Home Assistant used to be very fixed. Like this is the data is provided to us in this unit. This is how we're going to present it to you. Then a couple of releases back, we kind of started opening it up based on device classes. So if you have a temperature sensor and it's shown in Fahrenheit, because you have selected Fahrenheit as your unit system, but maybe you have a 3D printer, and in 3D printing, you often want to see things in Celsius, you will now be able to change these sensors to be Celsius. Now, that was added first, and that kind of became a slippery slope where, like, why wouldn't we allow changing everything? So basically, there's a lot of different device classes that allows you to that have a lot of different compatible units, and you can pick any unit, and it will be moving forward. The state will be in that unit. Now, one of the things that we notice is that like statistics that we generate every 5 minutes, they will actually not maybe be in your new state, in your new unit. And it used to be this and it became an issue. Like, hey, we're recording in this one unit and your sensor is now in this other unit. We don't know what to do. But this release, we actually know what to do because we can actually convert them. So statistics will be kept being generated all the time. And it also has the added bonus that if you now have a statistics card, you can actually change the unit and have the statistics on the fly be converted in any unit that you want. Well, the
Not
energy,
yet. We're working on it.
the API supports it. Sorry, the API
Yeah,
supports
the API supports it.
energy
I was
for
working
you.
on with
Okay.
Eric on the front end today.
Okay, yeah, and that part it's coming also to users. So this is a huge change, but it's really beneficial because you can really start customizing your data to like how exactly you want it to be represented. NetAtmo, complete rewrite to support all their new stuff. Really cool. I think modulating thermostats coming just in time to if you want to save energy using NetAtmo thermostats. Yeah, really cool. Prusa printers. I mean, this was I added Prusa printers. Like I have a printer there, and it has like Prusa link support, and I had included some information that it just shows you what it's printing, and now you can also remotely cancel it. So if you see on your camera that it's going bad, you can cancel it. Alternatively, supposedly you actually have to, there's these like spaghetti detectors that can like use AI with cameras to detect when it goes wrong. But I've been too lazy to set that up, so I just use this.
I actually set up a local spaghetti detector this week. So I got a Docker container running now, and so actually like the detector is not local. I kind of like that.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, that's possible. So that's cool. I like the little thing on a min-max helper. It now can calculate statistical range of the sensors you gave it. So if you give it like all the rooms in your house and the outside temperature, it will show you the difference, the max difference between those, between all those values, the range of it. And that can be really helpful to like find the biggest differences in temperatures in your home or between inside and outside, things like that. I think it's cool. That's a UI helper too, right? So that's easy to use.
What is the thread support for the HomeKit controller? What does that mean?
This is really cool. It means that Thread is of course the smart home protocol, the mesh networking protocol that also powers Matter, but it's a generic IP-based protocol, and now it can actually be used to control devices. So if a device is on Thread network, it actually shows up on your IP network. You can discover it with zeroconf, and you can send messages to it, but you should not send the same messages to a Thread-based device as you would send to a normal HomeKit device, because it needs to be, Thread devices don't always pick up because they're sleeping, right? They check in with the border router for pending messages, these kind of stuff. So it required some extra code. But it's really cool because it means that HomeKit controller now can control HomeKit devices over Wi-Fi, Thread, and Bluetooth. So
does that also mean that we're ready for Matter-based HomeKit devices?
There's no such thing as Matter-based HomeKit. You're either Matter or you're HomeKit.
Yeah.
Right? So, but I mean, it's going to work similarly, right?
Like, but the Matter-based HomeKit devices probably work with Thread, right? It might not. No, it doesn't really matter.
Basically, all the Matter technologies are all represented in HomeKit. That's like almost like a one-on-one match, right? Like it's IP-based because it's IP-based. So it's Thread and Wi-Fi. So there are some HomeKit brands. Nanoleaf is the one that has said that they will already have Thread network and they will do Matter over it as well. But for now, they do it just HomeKit over it. And of course, the nice thing about Matter is that you will be able to talk to both Android and Apple devices, right? HomeKit is limited to Apple devices and Home Assistant.
That's enough, right?
That's all you need.
So some new integrations. We already talked about iBeacon and Google Sheets, obviously, and there are more.
Vectron, very important.
Yeah, absolutely. I looked at it. I was just curious to find out what it is and how it looked. It's one of those things that's cool that Home Assistant support it, but at the same time you don't know why. It's yeah, well, it measures the amount of beer right, exactly. There we go.
Take control of your kegs and stop the guesswork.
Right, if you scroll down, it's like you connect the pipes to it, and then it will actually measure the amount of pints that goes through it. And for home, if you click on for home, you will see the devices, how they look.
Oh,
There we go.
Wow.
This seems the kind of technology that is being invented within fraternities.
Probably, yes.
Or in the cave.
But is this so you can know when your keg is almost empty?
Yes.
Yes, or for competition drinking.
Or for billing?
You know, two groups of friends both have a Kegtron, and then there was these bars in Spain that they would have, each table would have like a draft and like how many liters the people had drunk at that table that night, and then you just kind of create this competition between tables. I've been there once, but so yeah, something like this.
But this is one of the things that you think, why do we support it? But it's there, and it's actually somehow really cool that we can do these things, right?
Now I need a keg and a tap in my house.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Boom, boom.
What else? Yeah, there's some stuff in there. I'm not sure what's here. A LiDAR and there's radar. So both by TK drop. LiDAR is new and radar moved to the UI.
I think they're all using the same Python package now as well. They're kind of being generalized because all these programs are forks of one another, but focusing on a different category.
Oh. I don't know. I know they're popular, but I have no idea what they do. Actually.
They organize your TV shows, your movies, your LiDAR, music, maybe? I have no idea.
I'm the boring one. I got Netflix. They do that for me.
Yeah.
That's like what Couch Potato was like back in the days, right?
I remember that. I've heard the name, but I have no idea what Couch Potato does.
Couch Potato was for automatically downloading stuff from news groups and stuff. And managing everything and keeping track
Maybe
of
I
everything.
think it's similar then, I guess. Oh, yeah, LiDAR is music, somebody confirms.
Oh, right. All right, yeah, and DSMR reader migrated to the UI, and the interesting thing about that one is that it uses auto discovery over MQTT. So DSMR reader works via MQTT. That's kind of cool. It just auto discovers itself.
Ah,
well, you wanted to. That's the wrong button.
I'm trying to block them. Sorry. I don't know why we get these cameras today. It's so annoying. I get the popular. Yeah. All right. Let's this is it, right? This is the boom. Some breaking changes.
It's just a couple actually.
It's okay.
They're not really big. The only one I would like maybe put attention on, two maybe a little bit, is the Workday. There are some cases if you use the Workday sensor where some changes in the UK deficient. So if you're in the UK, make sure you check the settings for that thing because something changed upstream and you need to think about that. There are a couple of little changes there for that case.
Oh, man.
And Z-Wave make sure you update like the add-on or Docker container you use for your Z-Wave network, which one ever that is, to the latest version, and then you're okay to go for upgrading.
But do know that if you install Z-Wave just by going to add integration Z-Wave, Home Assistant will manage it for you, and you don't have to update anything.
Yeah,
So
this
these
one
are
will
only
be
for
managed
really
for you.
advanced users, I guess.
Yeah, in all
Oh,
other
and
cases.
Z-Wave JS UI is the new name. So this used to be called Z-Wave to MQTT, but they actually did more. They actually had a whole user interface, and in basically the user interface became the bigger part where they were known for, and so they've rebranded to be we're user interface and we support MQTT, and of course they support integrating into Home Assistant.
So if you previously installed Z-Wave JS to MQTT in Docker, for example, which is a pretty popular option if you run it in Docker, be sure to check out the rename of the project because they actually changed the Docker tags. So you have to update your Docker definition file, your Docker compose file, to point to the new location, or else you won't have this update.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's it. A bunch of links for integration developers. So if you develop custom integrations, be sure to check out this section. It links to our development blog, which we update throughout, continuously actually when we change the source code of our code base. And there's breaking changes for custom integration developers or new features we expose. We always list them on the developers blog, but still we link them here just to be sure they're noticed.
All right. Pooh. So, can we talk about Matter 1.0, or should we talk about the other thing?
The other thing.
The other thing.
So,
back in June, we had announced that we are working on the Home Assistant Sky Connect. Home Assistant Sky thing. That other thing.
I was really not.
Oh, I thought this thing.
Oh yes. Well, 1 second, Bram. I already started my intro now. Now we're going to do Sky Connect for. So this is the Home Assistant Sky Connect. Well, it is a USB stick, and it is a USB stick that does Zigbee, but we are working on a firmware upgrade so that it can do both Zigbee and Thread at the same time from the same USB stick. And Thread is the technology that powers Matter. So you will be able to use a single stick to manage both your Zigbee and your Thread network. And because we're building it and selling it, it means that from Home Assistant, you will be able to get firmware updates. So we will be able to keep this stick up to date with the latest firmware that we get. It's running Silicon Labs chip. They are the biggest vendor of Zigbee chips, and they're also the ones creating the firmware part that run both Thread and Zigbee at the same time. The reason we decided to go into the Zigbee stick business is because to run both Zigbee and Thread at the same time requires that you also run extra software on the machine, and so it means that you actually need a tight integration between Home Assistant and that stick. And so we were already building this for the Home Assistant Yellow, and we realized that because Home Assistant Yellow we're building out this technology, what about all the people that are not on a Home Assistant Yellow? So we basically took the chip that's on the Home Assistant Yellow, put it in a USB stick, boom, and put our logo on it, and you can get it. So we are actually opening pre-orders today. This, of course, does not show the URL. If you go to the Home Assistant website, you will now see a beautiful link to Sky Connect. It has some information. It will be coming soon. Oh, we just see the because it's your background.
I thought it looks weird, but it's
look at that. It's transparent.
I was like, what the heck is that?
It's a special edition. It's the invisible one. Cool.
I'm just creating a banner.
I don't know
Boom.
where mine
Check
is.
it out here. That's not a cool banner. We can do it nicer. Check it out here. You can find the pre-orders. We have worked with a couple of partners across America and Europe and China to have these in stock soon. So pre-orders are opening up today, and we're going to ship them end of October, beginning of November. When they ship, they will ship as Zigbee sticks because the firmware is not ready yet. We're still working on that. That's also not, Matter is not there yet either, right? So it will all come together eventually. There, you got the stick too. Yeah. So there's
Yeah, it was in my blue. I was looking for it, but of course it's inside my blue.
Yeah. So definitely check it out. We're releasing in batches. We made 5,000 of them now. In the first batch, the second batch will. No, it's a couple of months later. It will be released. So yeah, definitely check it out. There's the whole description. The beginning, we are focusing initial compatibility for Home Assistant operating system. So because we need to run the extra software to support these sticks with the multi-pen firmware, and we're using Home Assistant add-ons for that. We should be able to run this in containers. However, it's very important that the version of firmware on the stick and then the add-ons are all the same version. So containers we cannot update, we cannot manage. So we're really first going to focus on Home Assistant operating system installations. So if you use a Raspberry Pi, Home Assistant Blue, this is really the stick to go for. Yeah, other information. It will come with an extension cord. Please, 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 always, not just the Sky Connect, but anything Zigbee, anything 2.4 gigahertz, really. So also Bluetooth. Do not put it directly into your USB ports. Especially USB 3 is very well known to cause interference. And so any antenna, any signal that comes out of a stick that is right next to a USB port is basically just dropped. Like you cannot, your range might become like 50 centimeters or something. So always get an extension cable. They don't have to be long. You can have a short cable like this with the Sky Connect. It will come with a 50 centimeter long cable. That's around 20 inches. That's like this big or something. Whatever, something. And so yeah, it's use an extension cable. And the other FAQ was about the multi-protocol I just discussed. Definitely Home Assistant OS first. And once again, it will not do that out of the box, but it will be later. But we have the prototypes running in our lab, and so we're confident it's going to work.
So if I have this one, I don't need this one, right?
Correct. If you have the Home Assistant yellow, you do not.
Oh, Frank, wait. Let me just do this for you.
Is that how it works? Hold on, because I actually unpowered and shut it down because I think, I need to get rid of it.
Mine is different, by the way.
You have a different one? No.
Ah.
You have a newer one, right?
Yeah, this is the 1.3.
Right. So let me do this because this is ongoing forever, by the way. Let me do this because or else we're going to fight over this many, many times, right? And I don't think it will make that sound anymore because I've been using it for a bit now. It does a bit. It does a bit, but it's loose.
Wow.
There we go. Everybody satisfied right now? It's happening. No, it's done. There we go. No, because I'm actually moved my production system onto this. So I actually shut down my home right now, which is great to do this. So
I just did too.
Yeah. So
this one,
I moved to the yellow.
Yeah.
But there's actually news about this thing, right?
Yes, it is shipping. So it is finally, I mean, this has been, we launched the crowdfunding campaign on crowd supply on our birthday last year. So that's a year ago in September. So that's like 13 months ago. And, you know, it was interesting because this is our first real hardware where we're creating the PCB, and we were like, prepared. Like we basically looked at all the, we know there was a chip shortage, and we looked at all the components, lead times, and we had ordered basically anything that had a longer lead time than our compute module, because the compute modules were too expensive to pre-order what we needed. And then once the campaign was over, ta-da, a lot more other, a bunch of other chips had like long lead times. Things that like were supposed to take 2 weeks, all of a sudden had like 60 weeks, 70 weeks. Some things are still not available. So now it's here. So the versions that are shipping today, and actually people have already received notifications of shipping. Some people have even already received their yellows. So the ones that are shipping are Home Assistant Yellow. So this is the all-in-one with a compute module with Home Assistant pre-installed. It's the one you're seeing that Bram and Frank are holding. Then the Home Assistant Yellow Kit. This is a version of the Yellow without the compute module. So you will have to put the compute module in yourself, put the cooling on top, install Home Assistant on it. We have yellow.homeassistant.io, includes all the guides that you need to set it up. As you can, Bram is showing, you can actually,
Yeah, that's
there's
so cool.
small screws that are meant to be opened with your thumb, because of course our device is meant to be open and inspected and played with. So yeah, that's, you can easily add the compute module. Are we going to do a live demo now, Bram?
Sure.
That's the wrong Brum. Yeah, there we go.
So this one does have a compute module, but not the heatsink and stuff.
Right. And no battery.
No, it was shipped without battery. Should add one.
Yeah, once you get a kit, the only thing you have to do is to add the compute module, add the cooling, and install Home Assistant.
This is really difficult to do when you're trying to do it for camera.
Nobody's looking.
No, that's good.
So for the one we haven't mentioned though is the Home Assistant Yellow Kit Power over Ethernet, which is by far the most popular version of like all the three. And we were running into some issues before because the PoE chip we wanted was no longer available, and then we switched to a different PoE chip. And that new PoE chip, we had some issues with the emissions. And then in the end, what we ended up doing is we had to change the board, change some transistors, whatever stuff. But we just passed emissions. So we got that.
This one.
That is, yeah. So this is the Home
That's the
Assistant
fast
Yellow revision
Old,
1.3. Yeah. And so because the only thing that is now with the Yellow PoE, the Yellow Kit PoE, is that we realized that shipping is going to take longer than we previously thought. So with the Home Assistant Yellow and the Home Assistant Yellow Kit, we handed them over to our to Crowd Supply to send over to Mouser in Texas to then ship worldwide in the end of July. And it took a little over 2 months to get to Texas. And now that they're in Texas, they go super fast. But because Mouser is like a global distributor of a lot of components. And the problem there was like, you know, getting out of China or getting out of Hong Kong, there's customs, being on a boat, getting into the LA harbor, customs again. So even with all that, we think, and even the PoE version being ready, we're starting mass production next week. We still expect it to not arrive before January 2023. So that sucks, but that's, I guess, what it is. But yeah, the others are shipping, so that's really cool. We are not going to be able to make a lot more of the Home Assistant Yellow because getting bulk compute modules is a lot more difficult than for individual people to buy compute modules right now. So we are looking into buying, we have an order out to buy like 3,000 more. but that's not a lot, right? Like on a global, like, we're selling this worldwide. So yeah. Are there any questions? Boom, boom. Just if you get a compute module for your Home Assistant Yellow that has Bluetooth, it will of course work with the Bluetooth integration in Home Assistant. So that's really cool. The normal Home Assistant Yellow does not ship with the one that does Bluetooth though, because basically your Home Assistant hub is generally not close to your Bluetooth devices. So we really believe Bluetooth proxies to be the way forward there.
Yeah, it's so cool. So I have Bluetooth, Zigbee, Thread, Z-Wave, Wi-Fi, and Ethernet in this thing.
That's really cool. How did you add the Z-Wave?
It's CPI 7. It's over here, the blue one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so the headers of the Raspberry Pi, some of the headers of the Raspberry Pi are still... Oh, you just added the stick in, Frank. Yeah.
I already had it. I was like, well, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can always buy a new one.
Yeah.
I wanted to have everything in the box. No dongles.
Yeah. While you're opening up, I'm just gonna... Would it be easy to exchange the current Zigbee USB dongle for the new Sky Connect dongle? Yes, not only Sky Connect, but also the yellow, but also any other Zigbee dongle, because we just added migrations. So if you're using ZHA, you can now do migrations between different Zigbee networks, dongles very easily. Yes, this is actually really cool. What you can see on Bram's yellow board is that the blue shield in the bottom left, AOTech. So AOTech is, of course, a very popular manufacturer of Z-Wave devices. They make this little shield that fits on a Raspberry Pi. Since Home Assistant Yellow is based on the Raspberry Pi, this shield also just works out of the box with Home Assistant. And we've made sure that it actually fits inside the box of the Yellow. So we've positioned the headers in such a way that shields like this can just fit on those headers in the bottom left. It will sit right above your hard drive if you are using a hard drive. So that should all work. And then this just works, of course, with Z-Wave TS.
So in case you have hard drive, it will look like that.
Right.
Yeah, I should still add that one. Then I have everything.
And the cooling.
And a
I mean, I run it without the case. I just have it like naked on my desk here.
I don't have a blue like Raspberry Pi, by the way. It's just it's green, and my green screen just picks it up. Just saying. But yeah.
Yeah, I was already thinking, is that like a knockoff?
Well, there are knockoffs available nowadays, but yeah, I
don't know. Yeah. So there's a good question. Phoebes is asking, does this not suffer for the USB 3 interference issues? No, because Home Assistant Yellow does not have USB 3, because the Raspberry Pi on the Raspberry Pi boards, they use the PCIe Express to offer USB 3, but on the Home Assistant Yellow, we've decided to use PCIe Express connection to offer a hard drive or an M2 slot where you can also add some other stuff. But second is also, if you attach it as a shield, you actually don't go over USB. So the pins are directly connected to the Home Assistant board, and so this is going over serial directly, just as our Zigbee module is also connected to the serial ports on the compute module and does not have to go through USB.
And just like that, you put it all together again. Like,
boom.
Yeah, right? It's just a couple of seconds. I really love that about this design. I cannot help it. The fact that you can just open it without tools in a couple of seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Peeps, one more time. I need to get a hold of a compute module. If you need a compute module, the best website is rpilocator.com. It basically fetches data from all the official distributors of Raspberry Pi. If you do not go through official distributors, the price will be inflated. There's like huge scalpers. You go on like Amazon, it's like $140 and stuff. It's insane. My best experience is to follow RPI Locator on Twitter. and then you can enable notifications every time the bot tweets. And so basically you get push notifications whenever a Raspberry Pi becomes available.
That's how I got mine.
Yeah. All right. Heino's asking how many devices are supported on the Sky Connect dongle. We are there's going to be two approaches how we're going to run Zigbee. Either it's going to run Zigbee still on the stick and Thread in Linux, or it's going to run Linux and Zigbee. No, sorry, it's going to run Thread and Zigbee both in Linux. If everything runs in Linux and we just forward the packets, it's going to be a lot more. But I think with the current one, you should be fine. I think with at least 150 devices. So we tested, like somebody else had like a similar device with similar RAM, and that like could run like 150 devices. If you have more than 150 devices, you should probably also get dedicated Zigbee and Thread sticks, just because, it's, then you really are like committed to a certain technology, and you should go all in. Andy is asking, is there an ETA for when the yellow without compute module and without PoE will be available? We are doing more mass production orders. We put them in. We hope somewhere in the beginning of 2023 to make them available. The thing with the yellow kit without PoE and also the Home Assistant yellow, because they don't have power over Ethernet, we need to provide a power supply. And that just makes the box bigger, and that means that we cannot just say, hey, let's create 2,000 yellows. No, we have to say, let's create 200 for Australia and create 1,000 for the US and like 500 for Europe, etc. Right? Like we need to pre-allocate when we create. It just complicates everything a lot more. Like PoE is a single connector, right? That's really nice. All right. Now, we actually went over time. This is like one of the first times that we passed the 2-hour mark, which is like, and we didn't even talk about Meta 1.0.
That's because I had to remove the file. That's the reason. Sorry about that.
So I think, we shouldn't talk about Meta 1.0 today because, going past 2 hours just like...
You are a cheater.
You can do it again.
Yeah. No, we are. Maybe we should do another live stream about Meta 1.0, like in a week or two or something. Like, because then we also can get Marcel in, and there's going to be a big Meta member meeting in November, beginning of November in Amsterdam. We are going to attend Nabukasa. We are a member of the Meta Alliance, the CSA Alliance. It's also the alliance that does Zigbee. So obviously we're going to be there and, talk to other members and talk in the working group meetings. Like most of the meetings happen actually always online. So it's not really that we have to be there in person, but it's really good to network and actually go face to face with a lot of different companies. And one of the major things there is what they call a plug fest. And a plug fest is really cool because everybody will bring their Matter devices, and then you just go pair with each other. So we did this actually in June in San Diego as well, which was really helpful. So we were meeting all these different companies. They are bringing their, due to an NDA, we can't really say who we saw there, but like we saw a bunch of companies. They were showing their products. We were pairing them with Home Assistant. We were like, seeing if it working, not working. So that was really helpful. And so we're doing that in Amsterdam as well in November. Oh, and then we are in Amsterdam. We are hosting the State of the Open Home. So if you have been following us for a bit longer than a year, you know that we do a annual conference online. It's not in person, also not this year. And we are going to just talk about like all the different stuff. It's a big summary what we do last year. We're going to announce some cool stuff as always. Well, maybe we have to build that, but you can already like today on the website. There's a It's going to be on November 13. If you're West Coast time, US, it's 11 a.m. If you're in Europe, it's going to be at 8 Central European time. Check it out. You can already click on this. It will go to YouTube, and you can say notify me. So then you'll get a ping on your phone when it's happening. It's going to be, I don't know. Oh, I clicked on it, but you guys didn't see it actually because there was no tab. Anyway, check it out. It's going to be good. We're going to have, it's not just Home Assistant. Of course, ESP Home is there. CFGS, Raspberry, the voice assistant is going to join us. There's going to be a bunch of people speaking. And it's going to be great. So check it out. And then I guess we're going to skip our release party next month and just kind of steer people to this. I don't know yet.
Are we?
I don't know.
When is the
Depends what's
release?
in it.
Is that the Wednesday before?
Yeah, that's before.
Yeah. We're not going to delay the release this time. That's for sure.
No.
All right.
Maybe the
Then
release will
I
have
wish
some-
everybody a good day, good morning, afternoon, evening, night. And then,
There's no other new stuff. Don't you have a new device to show, Paulus? That's how you normally end it.
Yeah, but I mean,
Did your switchbot come in?
no, my switchbot didn't come in. Now it's out for delivery, they say, so that's good. No, but it only was it was in Staten Island at 3:30, so it's not going to be in Brooklyn by now. No, it's that's actually so interesting. When I was living in California, you get like package shipping, and Amazon is like, we're 10 stops away. They're going to be there within 15 minutes because a stop, like these are big houses. So basically Amazon driver gets out, they drop off a package and then boom. But in New York, 10 stops away, it means 10 times a building with like 40 packages that need to be delivered per building. So 10 stops away is like 2 hours or something. So yeah, it's all going a little slower. Anyway, big city life, I guess.
Right.
Yeah, I wish everybody a happy afternoon, and
Thank you all for joining. And don't forget to
Yes.
hit the like and the subscribe and such. And
very important. Like, subscribe, retweet, tell your friends. Pre-order Skype Connect if you don't have a yellow. If you want a yellow, then you should pre-order the yellow instead. Bye.